All right, welcome back, everybody. Opposition Senator Damion Crawford is proposing staggered work hours to help fight the spread of COVID-19. He joins us now to tell us more. Long time no see, long time no talk. Good morning, sir.
Morning, my darling baby.
I'm very well.
I don't have a thing to settle on Monday.
What's the problem? What seems to be the problem?
No, it's all right. You can do it.
I don't want you to be too jealous, I don't want you to be too jealous of me.
I mean, what's that about? Anywho, it's good to see you. How you been?
Good to see you, my brother.
I've been good. My advisor, as I said earlier, have been telling me less is more, so I've been out of the
So you stop chat.
Yeah.
But it's not bad advice. Is it bad advice?
No, not so far, but it's hard for you to see shark in the water and not tell people, so I'm back out.
He's a shark watcher. Okay, maybe one day you... anyway, that's another story for another time. Tell me a little bit about this call now. Nev and I were talking at the top of the show and saying that this is not necessarily a new call, because even from the beginning we were talking about places that are crowded because of COVID. How can we ease some of the pressure on the transportation system, ease some of the pressure on the supermarkets, ease some of the pressure on the, all the areas that the public have to use. But you are making a more specific and streamlined proposal. Tell us a little bit about what you're putting forward.
Okay, well, the hardship that comes with the intervention that the government's putting forward is very hard on the people. And by extension, it's necessary for us to see, can we reduce the hardship while achieving the mandate of reducing the numbers? And so I started looking at what the data has been saying. And the data says that 25% of the people who contracted COVID suggested that they got it on public transportation. And another 30% assumed they got it at their workplace. And so I started to look, therefore, if we targeted these two places that were dominant in the results, because the third most was 70% did not know, 3% was church, and 8% was social events. So if we targeted these two dominant areas, meaning public transportation and the workplace, we may be able to reduce the spread and the recession that we get, the ebbs and flows that we get, where we're okay now and then we're back thereafter.
You trust those numbers, Damion?
Sorry?
25% public transportation.
They got it on public transportation.
It sounds low to me. If
you look at it, 30% said that they got it at the workplace. So when you look at those two numbers, you're looking at 55%.
Okay.
Now the third most was really 70%. So in relativity, it is a large number of persons. What we realize is between 7 and 9, we have crowded public transportation. And between 4 and 6, we have crowded transportation. And so if the PSOJ, in particular those who are not retail, meaning direct customer sales, could then categorize us, and I'm a member of the PSOJ and I'm a member of the Jamaica Manufacturers Association, where category A is 7 a.m., category B is 10, category C is 12, then that means that we wouldn't have a big congested demand for public transportation, and that crowding would reduce the transmission.
Yeah, Sim said it sounded small. I think it sounds big because a lot of people working at home.
Well, a lot of people are working at home. However, if you look at 25% of 1,000, you're looking at that's 250. 25% of 10,000 is 2,500, and 25% of 100,000 is 25,000. So while it is that the percent may sound small, on average, it is a large impact because of the number of persons that are traveling.
Yeah.
So while our workforce of 1 million may have 30%, 300,000 staying home, the other 700,000 is still in need of going to work. So therefore, the percent is based on the absolute impact with the numbers it affects.
For this to happen, it has to be left up to the businesses, right? Nobody can force TVJ to say, make Smiles Jamaica start 7 o'clock instead of 6 o'clock. It has to be, they have to just ask the businesses to do this, right?
Right. The government do have a role of encouragement as well, not just through laws, which is the enforcement, but through encouragement. So the government, for example, may offer a carrot. Like, for example, if you acquiesce to this suggestion, you may get tax breaks, or you may be able to apply for loans and stuff like that. So while it is that it is an agreement, the government could encourage this agreement. Plus, the businesses are losing a lot of money. As a businessman, I can tell you. So they are also seeking solutions. And more and more of us have to just look for them and to suggest those solutions.
So let me ask you, you said the government has been providing encouragement. a lot of folks say encouragement is not going far enough.
No, they should, they can. That is one role they can play in having us go towards this strategy.
Sure, but I'm saying that the feedback from many Jamaicans is that they need to do more than encourage, because encouragement is not doing enough, especially where private sector entities are concerned. So where is the disconnect there, Damion? Is it that the PSOJ needs to find itself in a more obligatory position to voluntarily do some things that may be tough decisions to make but will have greater impact? Or does the government need to try and do a little more coercing than encouragement?
No, there's greater gray area in objective than in strategy. Now, the government has given us an objective. We want to reduce the numbers. There's a lot of gray area in that objective. If you put a pinpoint strategy, as I'm suggesting, to say, okay, if you can stagger, this is a strategy, you're either for or against the strategy. We're all for the objective, but how we go about the objective, there'll be many people with different opinions of how to do it. So therefore, what the government has been lacking, in my opinion, is a direct strategy. So you say, stay at home, all right? And I can then choose to or choose not to or choose how to. However, if you say stay at home on a Friday as they have done, that is something that you then either have to or not have to. So I believe that if we could have these booking systems for retail and to have these staggered openings for non-retail, I think that it is a more strategic and direct request that the people will be willing to address.
How you see that working practically now? I hear you doing the maths like the math teacher that you are.
Yeah.
Practically, what would this look like for a retail store? So 8-12, you have one set of workers. 12-4, you have another set of...
No, as I said, for retail, it's really booking. So if I'm a supermarket, I'm believing that person should be able to book on an app based on the size of the supermarket and the request for social distancing. So I'll be able to... Naturally, if 10 o'clock is unavailable and we are not taking a bus at 10, what we have now is everybody leaving at 7 to be at the front of the line at the tax office instead of being able to book for 4. The non-retail, meaning we don't directly deal with consumers, we could have 3 categories, and one category could be 6 a.m. start time, 10 a.m. start time, and 12 noon start time. And so therefore, we will be able to do our behind-the-scenes work, like myself who produce eggs. I could always be 6 a.m., I don't deal with customers directly.
Right.
Or I could be 12, I don't deal with customers directly. And then when we in category A, B, or C, our workers will then travel at that appropriate time.
Yeah. Are the lockdowns working?
Well, to suggest if it's working, I would say, is it working sufficiently? Because it has reduced the numbers we have seen. But could we reduce the numbers more? Or could we have gotten less hardship and have an equal reduction? That's a necessary consideration. I believe that the lockdowns don't sufficiently consider the culture of our society and the working reality. So if you look at Saturday lockdown, that affects a particular type of person disproportionately because a weak income is earned on a Saturday, like a hairdresser or a barber. Those persons earn their entire week income in the main on a Saturday, on a weekend when we are available to go. So I believe that these lockdowns have unduly affected these people, and they haven't come with some form of inducement to financial contributions like other countries, so that people who depend on interaction can still survive. So that it has.
Yeah. Having said that, should we have more lockdown weekends?
I don't, not in the way we're doing it, no. I believe we should try some of the things we're proposing, like a bubble for education. So kids doing CXC should stay at school for 6 weeks, and we give them extensive education, and other persons do the registration to go to the supermarket.
Hold on. Stay at school for 6 weeks?
Yes, well, what happened now is that you have to keep a bubble. Now, you have 40 minutes of mathematics 2 times a week, and that is all you have because you go at 8 o'clock. But if we should have like a football camp, a man have a cot and him sleep in a classroom, and a couple of people in a classroom. For those who are doing CXC, who are now way behind, we could have actually 6 hours a day of any subject. So if we have a 3-subject bubble, they didn't have to travel because the school becomes a hub. And then they go back to their communities, which is a spoke. And that is now a central source of spread. The child might not be as affected as his grandparent, but that travel in between community and school, because we don't have zone schools, is a central source of COVID contact.
So
Yeah,
who feed the kids and stuff while they are there for the 6
We have to
weeks?
have persons who are also staying, but then teachers would then travel, especially those who are vaccinated.
Right.
So
Okay.
therefore, when we had a math camp, for example, for 21 days at the University of West Indies, I had a math camp with 400 kids. And they did the entire CHC syllabus in that 21 days. They did 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the afternoon, and 2 hours in the night. And the entire CHC syllabus was covered within those 3 weeks.
Okay.
All right.
Back to your original proposal now about the staggering. Have you discussed with your PSOJ counterparts or should I say colleagues? And is there buy-in for what you're
I
suggesting?
mentioned to the president of the Jamaica Manufacturers Association in our conversation, and their major concern, of course, is would the curfew be extended for their workers if they start at 12 to get their 8 hours, and also what's the security situation in Jamaica as it relates to traveling very early in the morning without a crowd, or very late in the night without a crowd, because a lot of people who recognize crowds help to create security. And so they're concerned about the security arrangements and what the government will do to assist with that.
So lots of implications, lots of elements to be kind of worked out, but in the main, the proposal is let's do this and it could have a significant effect on what's happening.
That is my assumption, yes.
All right. I would never ever want to go against the folks who are telling you what to do, but I kind of like when you get yourself in a trouble and you chat plenty.
No,
Don't follow him.
So,
no more trouble, no more trouble.
Go and chat, my brother. Me like it. Damion,
Just proposals, no.
good to see you, my friend. Really good to see you. Stay safe, all right?
Thank you. And Simone, excellent show. I've been tuning in.
Oh, will you come and sit with me one Monday night?
Definitely.
Okay, done and dusted.
But no trouble, as long as that's promised.
No. You can't get in trouble on that show. Not.
Yeah.
I have one more thing to say before I go.
KC for champs, by the way.
Yeah, idiot,
Oh
man.
no!
Come on, man.
Here we go.
Later, my brother. Stay safe.
Thanks, Damion.
Damion Crawford, opposition senator.
Oh boy.
Up next, we take another book off the shelf with A Girl Called Prim, a true story about a girl who survived abuse. But first, all right, here's a performance by, I don't know if it's the CAG family or the CAG family, with Blood.
Right up, CAG family, small Jamaica TVJ. We come with a message. All right, what was that?
We are bleeding now. We are bleeding now.
Right up,
We are bleeding now. We are bleeding now.
doctor,
We are bleeding now.
we are bleeding now. And Jamaica,
We are bleeding now.
hey, now. What was it?
In my going out and in my coming in. Cover myself. Cover myself.
What was it? What was it?
In your going out and in your coming in. Cover yourself.
All right. What was that, Jamaica?
Cover yourself. Cover yourself.
All
Cover
right.
yourself. And then put a Jesus. We not put a Jesus.
Yes, Simon.
We are step with a Jesus.
All right.
Cover yourself. Cover yourself. Cover yourself. And then put a Jesus. We not
You know what's my Jamaica? Jamaica, listen it. All right.
Jesus, I want to be my own.
What we do? What we do?
Jesus, I want to be my own.
Right up.
Jesus, I want to be my own.
Listen me now. Jamaica. That defends you, protect you, help you, make you right from your mind. Hallelujah. Me tell you, just easy and stop telling you,